If you guys have been watching my content, I'm sure you guys have noticed I've been skating these two Etny's models pretty heavily lately. This is the Etny's Locut, and this is the Etny's Callicut, aka the OG like mall shoe. And today I just really wanted to talk about the differences of these shoes. I mean, are they even worth skating? So we will be breaking these shoes down a little bit from the grip, the material, the price point, the board feel, the flick, the durability, and ultimately which one would be better for you. So I feel like before we get into all the details on these shoes, I do want to mention these shoes do come in a few different materials. Right now the Locut is like a mixed media, sort of say. It's got the leather and the suede going on here. But the Callicut does have a few different options. You can get a full suede option, which you see here. Also offer a full leather one as well. Like the white one especially, like this silhouette just looks just like the Adidas Stan Smith in white, you know? Just of course with the Etny's E. And this shoe comes like in another material. This is like a nubuck slash like synthetic leather. I also felt in the early 2000s, a lot of shoes were made this way, like with this black like colorway specifically. It's funny because I feel like we don't really see this material as much on skate shoes anymore, but personally, like I actually really like it. But we'll get into that shortly. So you're probably asking you, why am I telling you these are all different materials? Because I do want to mention this before we actually start talking further about the shoes. Because when you do have a suede shoe, the suede's gonna break in much easier. It's gonna be a lot more smushy, like right off the bat. These shoes are literally like brand new. And this shoe I can smush right away. So you'll be able to step into this shoe and break it in, no problem. The leather, on the other hand, is definitely gonna be a little bit stiffer. But after like the second or third session, I'm sure you'll notice the break-in is very nice. Also, I feel like the leather does hold up pretty good, but the thing I don't like about leather is that you get to see the marks like that on your shoe. And just on the white leather, that looks like, I don't know, I don't love how that looks. I feel like when you're scratching on suede, you just don't really get those kinds of marks. It looks a little bit different, kind of like blends into the suede, if you will. And then on this like nubuck kind of leather, this synthetic leather, it also kind of blends in. Because I was skating these shoes with brand new grip tape and I'm like looking at the camera and into them. It's kind of crazy how there's really not much wear and tear for how many flip tricks and ollies I did in this shoe. I'd rather see that than that. I'm not sure if it's out yet, but I do know the Cali Locut, it has come in full suede, which is like amazing. I feel like it just break in great, it'd be nice and durable and cozy right away. And I'm pretty sure I've seen the same kind of like synthetic nubuck leather in this material coming out with this. I'm not sure when or if that's actually true, so don't hold me to it. But I do want to mention though, there are different materials in these shoes, especially the Callicut. There are different materials, but they're all going to be the same price, which is really nice. I think since we're talking about price point already, we might as well talk about the price of these shoes really quick. The Callicut is like a $69, $70 shoe. Could use my 20% off code and I think it brings it down to about 55 bucks, which is not bad. The price point is going to be lower on this shoe. There's obviously a lot less details around this shoe. It's pretty basic, as you guys can see. Pretty simple silhouette, rounded toe cap. I mean, nothing too crazy. Since it's so simple doesn't mean it's bad. It's just that there's less material on this shoe, so the cost can obviously be a little lower. But the Locut, on the other hand, is about an $89, $90 shoe. Obviously, you can kind of tell there's a way more material being used here. Like I mentioned, there's leather, there's suede, there's some other leather back here, which the other shoe doesn't have. Just tell ultimately the shoe has a lot more tech, sort of say, going on. I was saying this shoe is about an $89 shoe, but if you use my 20% off discount, it brings it down to about $71, which is still a pretty good price for a skate shoe. So with this shoe being a little bit more expensive, obviously there's more material on the toe cap. So let's talk about the toe cap a little bit further. Kind of on that material note, you know, you got the leather here and then we got the suede toe cap kind of covering it. So obviously you got to burn through this suede before you even hit the leather. But also the shape of this toe cap. Do you see how it's a little bit more narrow? And then on the Callicut, it's much more rounded on this one. I do want to say you're going to get a little bit better of a flick in this shoe. Just because it's a little bit more narrow, I feel like my flick on this shoe was a little bit more precise. I'm not saying my flip tricks weren't precise in this shoe. I just felt the flick was just a little bit quicker and nicer in this shoe. Pretty much I feel like just goes back to that toe cap. But if you're not really flipping your board too much, honestly, this is a pretty solid shoe. There's not too much stitching that you're going to be ripping up. You got a little ollie patch obviously right here with some stitching that you might rip. but there is pretty thick kind of, the cupsole right here pokes out pretty heavy. So you're gonna be like kind of having to go through that before you even dip into that. Kind of like down here near the cupsole of the shoe, I do want to talk about even the cupsole and the grip actually. Both of them are pretty much the same height on the cupsole. They're pretty much the same like on the board feel, sort of say, like you can kind of see on this shoe too, like I can pretty much push it in from here. For it being a cupsole, it's really not that thick of a shoe. Like, so if you're normally skating Vans and really thin Volk shoes like Converse and stuff, stepping into this won't actually feel that crazy. You'll still get that board feel. You'll feel the ground pretty good. The only difference is that obviously you got a big poofy pillow around your foot. It's pretty funny because even though these shoes are pretty similar in the grip pattern, they're actually very different. So on the Callicut, I actually feel this shoe has better grip than the Locut. You can kind of see right here, the tread is a little bit different. We got these little circle things right here and whatnot. And it's funny because like this grip didn't necessarily burn out on me very fast. I skated it for about like 5 weeks straight. You could still really see everything left on the grip, which was actually really surprising. I thought it was gonna definitely wear out way faster. But at first, I do wanna admit this shoe definitely was a little bit slicker, but as you skated it more and more, it definitely got grippier. It was as if it had like that little like almost fresh film layer on, you know? You almost had to just like wear it in a little bit, and it did get better. But once you actually skate the Michelin grips, that's a whole other story. The Michelin grip is so grippy, like it's insane how grippy that shoe is. This one does say non-slip grip. It is nuts how much grippier I feel like this shoe feels. Here are a few other little details about the shoes that are pretty much similar that I just want to talk about. They actually both have a very similar insole in this shoe too. It's not anything too crazy. There is a little insole in here. It's really nothing too crazy in here. There's not any crazy midsole in this shoe or anything. So you just really have the cupsole and then your insole in both of these shoes. So that's what I'm saying. You definitely get a lot of board feel for how poofy these shoes look. The other thing I do want to point out that I love about both these shoes, the big poofy tongue. It's like so nice. The big poofy tongue is so nice. If your board's landing on your foot all the time, if you're doing flip tricks or whatever you're doing, that saves at least my foot so much. The other thing I love about these shoes is the elastic tongue straps right here. And it's funny how like, I feel like you don't even realize how nice those things are. But for the one thing, you can slide your foot in and out of the shoe really easy. It always keeps your tongue straight. You have like the shoelace through the middle and you're always like kind of like trying to fight your tongue and put it, you know, straight. This way, it just stays straight. It looks good. Easy to get your foot in. It should be a crime for shoes not to have the elastic tongue strap and a poofy tongue, but that's just me. All right, so overall, I mean, they're both definitely good skate shoes. Kind of depends what you're looking for. Obviously, there is a little bit difference of a price point. I do like how both of these are under $100, which is great. But I think if you're doing kind of more tech tricks and whatnot, this might be a better shoe option for you. It might last a little bit longer. But if you're not really too techy, you're not flipping your board around too much, I feel like the Callicut is a solid option. I think it's a great price point. I think you get some good board feel. I think it lasts a good amount of time. This like OG mall shoe honestly surprised me. I used to skate, there's like a DVS model that looked just like this, kind of that Stan Smith silhouette, and I used to love it as a kid. So I'm not really too surprised why I like these still so much. But for a shoe that I never skated growing up, I really like this shoe a lot too. So yeah, comment and let me know what you guys think about both of these shoes. Have you guys skated either of these shoes? Are you considering skating them? Even if you're not, ultimately, which one would you pick?